and hear about the questions that regularly are out there, that employers, that people of faith, that really many people, educators, people are having to deal with every day. One of the things we know is that many people have addressed these issues in a good way. And so there are many best practices out there. But we also know that often those aren't shared. And so as issues come up, people aren't aware of how to deal with them. What obligations do employers have to accommodate religious holidays for non-Christian staff? What obligations do hospitals or jails or universities have in meeting various needs, whether it's food, whether it's exam time, a whole myriad of issues that are raised, legitimate issues that people want assistance in responding to. We talk about respect for and people seeking accommodation for creed. There are other people who want to be free of other people's religion or creed. And what about that in the workplace or whatever? How much can coworkers talk about their religion before it violates others people's rights or crosses a line? What about a police officer who wants to be allowed to not carry weapons based on religious beliefs around pacifism? What about, and this has been in the papers across Ontario, about religious prayers being held in public schools during school hours? There are many issues, and it really goes back to what exactly is creed? The code talks about us, and in our current policy developed 15 years ago, we interpret creed to mean religious creed or religion. Under this policy, we see religion as a professed system and confession of faith, including both beliefs and observances or worship. A belief in a god or gods or a single supreme being or deity is not required. So creed under the policy can include non-theistic bodies of faith, such as the spiritual faith and practices of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis cultures, for example. Again, if we read the media, we see that there are other groups who are seeking recognition to be included as creed. So we hear about people saying that veganism or humanism should be included as creed. And there are cases today before not just the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal, but other tribunals across the country asking those kinds of questions. We know in the 15 years since our original, or since the last version of our policy on creed, there have been several legal decisions that are not in sync with our old policy. So we want to make sure our policy advice on creed reflects current legal realities. And this is especially the case when rights based on creed seem to conflict with other rights. And there have been a number of recent cases involving that. Christian Horizons, Lumba, We intervened recently at the Supreme Court of Canada in two cases, one involving a niqab, the wearing of a niqab by a witness, and the other, the Whatcott case from Saskatchewan. So there are many issues, many questions that are going to have to be discussed and considered as a part of the work we'll be doing on our policy. And we hope that the fact that you're here today means that you'll engage with us throughout this process. And I would ask you to check our website on a regular basis and respond to the questions and the issues as they are put out there. So tonight is the beginning, and we're very lucky to have two speakers with such knowledge about the issues I've spoken of who will speak tonight. I'm going to start by introducing Professor David Seljak, who will speak, and then I will introduce the second speaker, and then who will speak, and then we'll have an opportunity for your questions. So please come up with questions, and you'll have an opportunity to ask them. So our first speaker, Professor David Seljak, who's an associate professor of religious studies at St. Jerome's University in Waterloo, Ontario, and chair of the Department of Religious Studies at the University of Waterloo. David is an accomplished editor and expert on various religion-based themes, whose latest projects have been a series of research reports on religion and multiculturalism for Canada's Department of Canadian Heritage. Please join me in welcoming David, who will be speaking on religious intolerance in multicultural Canada. David?